can't believe I'm saying this, but yeah, Moses is right.
Okay.
Whatever.
Moses, Plato, the later the better.
Indeed.
Sorry to bother you guys, but have you seen Monica?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the last session of today's IndieX 2023. And I just said in the past hour that I'm I'm a lucky person because I am part of this amazing showcase, and I'm able to talk with some really talented and creative people across the world that submitted their game to IndieX. But today I'm also double lucky because I'm able to speak with studios that I'm a personal fan for quite a while. And this game, this studio, The Wild Gentleman, that developed the first Chicken Police back in 2016, it's a studio I really like. And I bought the first game and wrote about the first game. And for me, it's an honor to have one of the members, Bánk Varga, from the Wild Gentleman to speak with us and talk about this amazing series, Chicken Police. Bank, welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me, and that was quite an introduction. Thank you. It's really an honor to be here with you and to hear that you like the game, our first game so much. So yeah, it's an honor.
Yeah, actually, we were just talking before the streaming session that we already spoke. Just said hi this year because I spent some time in the Wild Gentleman's booth at Gamescom. Because when I saw the booth with Chicken Police, the sequel, I immediately went to talk, and at the time with Thomas, like, don't forget to submit for IndieX this year because I love your game. And yeah, we actually said hi, and now we're here, and we're really honored for having Chicken Police into the Hive as part of IndieX. So thank you, Bank, and thank the rest of the team for giving us the pleasure of being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Really, it's also a pleasure for us, and we really we were super happy to meet you in person in Gamescom, and it was quite a great show. So we are stoked to be a part of IndieX too.
Something curious we're also talking about in the before starting, and I would like to bring this to the live version, is when Chicken Police Painted Red got released in 2016. Obviously, we had three things going on why we immediately needed to write about it. One, it's about the chicken. For us, it's obviously with our website, Rubber Chicken would be an immediate match. Second was the theme, and the third one, the really original idea and art direction of using photo manipulation of animals with creating these anthropomorphic characters. Something really curious we were talking about is if you were aware about IndieX's the 50 finalists this year, we have another game that we feel it's influenced by how creative and innovative you were back in 2016, which is Albert PI. So, Bank, how do you and the team feel about your passion, your baby project, like you said, is as big as influencing other creators on doing their own games? How do you feel this?
Yeah, actually, it's an amazing feeling. Also, it's a strange feeling for first because I never thought that we had such huge impact on the industry or on other devs or something like that. So it's super honoring for us to have any influence on any other indie game because yeah, our game is this really strange, weird thing, and we never thought that we will have any major influence on anything. To be totally honest, but yeah, it's our love child, as you said, and our first love, as I usually call it. So yeah, it's a great thing to have this kind of influence on other games and other developers. So yeah, it's super nice thing.
My suggestion, well, we have a really relaxing conversation about several things regarding the development of Chicken Place is to dive into the actual game, the sequel. I hope there are lots of people in the audience that already played the first one, Painted Red, that came out in 2016. If they don't, I would suggest two things. The first one, and we already have this on our chat at least 3 or 4 times. Go to Chicken Place Into the Hive um, Steam page and wishlist it.
Just stick
And
with the
why not
classics.
buy the first one
It
just
was a
to
dark and
feel the
stormy
taste
night.
of
Well,
what
it
this
wasn't
amazing
as
universe
stormy,
is?
but it was clucking dark for sure. I woke up from a horrible dream among boxes that had my whole life in them. I was ready for the big journey around
Here
the
we are.
wilderness. But a mysterious woman in a hood came to ruin everything. Sound familiar? And she came straight from the Hive, fellas, with a case that looked like straight suicide. Did I take it? Clock, yes. Because that's me, the perfect schmuck. Now all I had to do was get Marty, my partner, to back me up. But he strangely refused to pick up the phone. I wonder what could have happened to him.
So here we are. We're picking up. This is a sequel. Like,
Yeah.
who played the first one will have context to something that is happening in the second one. Is it, Bánk?
Yeah, absolutely. One really important thing is yes, Chicken Police Into the Hive is a sequel, but it also a totally standalone experience and standalone story. So if you never played the first one, never even heard of the first one, you will enjoy the second one as just as much as who played the first. Obviously, those who play the first game will have more context on some things, and there are some returning characters and themes and things like that. But yeah, overall, it's a totally new experience, and that's basically the reason why we don't call it Chicken Police 2.
Yeah.
And the game got its own subtitle into the Hive because yeah, it's a totally new adventure. So if this is the first time that you will have to fill the shoes of Sunny Featherland, our main protagonist, then it's just as much fun and just as a complete experience if you play the first.
So, are you guys in the team huge fans of point and click games?
Yeah. Obviously, we have a pretty mixed team, so we like totally different kinds of games. I myself am a huge fan of FPS games and GRPGs, but yeah, one of the biggest influence on me as a developer or as a human being is classic point and click games.
Yeah.
Especially Grim Fandango is
Oh,
my most favorite of all time, I think. And yeah, some influences of that game are pretty obvious in Chicken Police 1 and 2 as well.
what is your role in the Wild Gentleman?
Actually, I'm the creator, the writer, the creative director, and the lead designer.
Because you know what I was going to say? It's you just said Grim Fandango, and I was going to bring up the soundtrack because it's this jazz,
Yeah.
this jazz vibe that obviously makes sense with the police noir story, but it's also the vibe of Grim Fandango. You know, all this
Yeah.
jazzy, yeah.
Yeah, actually, you are right on point because when our amazing composer asked that which feeling I'm looking for with the game, I just sent the full Grim Fandango soundtrack to him, and that was it basically. My pitch that what I want to hear, what's the feeling. Obviously, Grim Fandango has its own taste with all those Mexican elements and
Hey, I know you can hear me.
and
Everyone is
other
listening to us.
more
Don't you care?
light-hearted jazz elements. But overall, the feeling of that soundtrack was the main aiming for us.
Although I think this is the obviously the for obvious reasons we haven't been had a time to talk, and I really love the first game. So I have some creative and technical questions to ask you.
Mhm.
The first one is: did you guys actually film this? Like for example, when we look at Marty's body, it's composed of obviously the torso of a human. Did you guys film this or record this? Or is this yeah?
Yeah. Actually, we did almost all the characters with real photo sessions.
Nice.
So, like in a totally built up studio, we ourselves developers suited up for the roles and made the photos.
Which one are you?
Almost all almost all the male characters are me. So in this case, both Sonny and both Marty bodies are mine actually. But yeah, and also for the animals, the heads are pretty interesting challenge because we did our own photos. Like we went to zoos and wildlife parks and
Whoa.
even brought some animals to the studio to photograph them in every single um, every single version we could get to get uh, every side and whatnot. And yeah, but those were uh, even even those were not enough. So we need to manipulate them pretty heavily,
Yeah.
like using stock photos and using even 3D modeling for some of the heads or some of the bodies. So yeah, I think like 80% of the bodies and the heads are photographed, and 20% done with 3D technology. Actually, into the Hive using more 3D than the first game because we now have insect characters in the game,
Oh yeah.
and photographing insects is a really almost impossible thing. So we modeled the insect body parts totally in 3D.
Something I always find really amazing to these streaming sessions. Obviously, I'm so immersed in the conversation that I end up like playing in the back of my mind, and,
Yeah.
what am I doing? Like,
Yeah, actually, you need to inspect the trunk of the car.
oh yeah,
I
nice.
think, but yeah, I myself
Have an item added. Yeah.
yeah.
So, and did the voice acting? Is it also the team doing the voice acting? Did you hire?
No, the voice acting is a fully professional thing we did with OM Studio London. Every time on every project we have, because we had such an amazing time with them on Chicken Police 1. So we have pretty huge voices who played roles in games like Baldur's Gate 3, for instance, or like Horizon Zero Dawn and whatnot. So yeah, our voice is a thing that we are pretty proud of every time we speak about it, because yeah, it's because the game has so much dialogues, like I don't know, 70% of the game are dialogues. The voice acting is a pretty huge thing that the game is fully voice acted.
So we also have this new color mode for this game. Why did you decide to bring this color mode that reminds us of that old photography technology where we had black and white photos and people just colorized them with
Yeah.
watercolors and stuff? Were you trying to bring also that kind of ambience to the game?
Yeah, that's one reason why we did that. The other one is we did everything in color, even for Chicken Police 1. and then shaped it to black and white and adjusted the contrast and brightness and every aspect of it. But every time we did a location or a character, even for Chicken Police Fun, we were like, oh, it's such a shame that people never will never see those
Yeah,
in
yeah,
full
yeah, yeah.
color. So we were like, okay, it's now a second game, and we did the first one in fully black and white. Now here's a chance to show the colors as well. So we did this little feature that the player can turn on and off color or noir mode basically every time in the game, just one click, and the scene will alter between the two modes. So and so basically we were like, why not? And also because the black and white thing is rooted in the narrative, because it's representing that Sunny Featherland, our protagonist, looks at the world in black and white because he lost all the hope, and he's the grumpy, half alcoholic, hard boiled cop.
Yeah.
And but there is his friend and partner Marty, who is always this cheered up fella. So he looks everything in bright colors. So basically, it's altering between them, so to speak. Or you can see the thing in another aspect, that this is both Sony's vision, but Sony starting to regaining the hope in humanity, with quotation marks, of course.
By the way, in terms of production, you were saying you filmed yourselves most of the time. Did you actually had to have like wardrobe shopping spree, or did you had an idea how you should dress up, or you went, we need this jacket, we need this kind of stuff?
Yeah, both ends were valid. That we just went to our wardrobe and see that which clothes we can use in the game, and shape the character with those what we have. But we also had some shopping sprees, yeah, where we went to, we this kind of fedora or this kind of jacket or whatnot, and then just went to a tour and find it. So yeah, both were valid points. Yeah,
And
it
I'm
was a little
sorry.
bit harder for the second game because we have some super extravagant characters as well. So not just tuxedos and suits and whatnot. But for those characters, we then used 3D modeling. So that was our backup plan.
I'm not just asking this because I would like to know if you could point me to where can I buy both Sonny's and Moses jackets, because I really love them and I would like to have jackets like that. If you know and you can point me out where I can buy them, I would thank you for that.
Yeah, actually, Sonny's jacket has its own story because I got those that jacket from my grandfather,
Oh,
from my late grandfather, who find it somewhere in the Second World War. So we
really?
never find the source. Yeah, we actually started to looking for this kind of jacket on the internet, but it's quite high possibility that it's handmade or manufactured in very slow numbers, because we never find any trace of it on the internet or everywhere else. So yeah, it's Sony's jacket is a quite a unique
No,
thing,
and it's
and
really
also
beautiful. It's a really beautiful jacket.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Uh, One thing we know, it's Italian manufacturing, but that's all we know about it. So it's quite a mystery, actually.
I would never think this streaming session will then end up me trying to find information on how to buy some of the characters' clothes, but hey, that's why we're
Yeah,
here.
yeah, that's the beauty of it.
Do you still feel there's there's market. Who is buying point and click games? Is it us, like people in their 30s and 40s, or even 50s? It's us that are buying point and clicks. Or do you think younger generations also have the appeal to play this genre?
Honestly, I like to think that that the younger audiences still have this interest in games like this. But honestly, I think the uh, main audience for this kind of game is, yeah, as you said, us, the people who grow up on these kind of games. But also, I think point and click games has some kind of renaissance nowadays, especially on the indie market, because uh, on a AAA side, I don't think this genre ever come back in its full glory. But on the indie side, there are some amazing games and amazing
Yeah.
developers who were still making these games and make these games better and better every year. So yeah, that's why I think it's somewhere in between. I like to think that we are reaching for new audiences too, but the reality is that I think majority of the players are ones who are nostalgic for these kind of genres.
We have someone on the chat, Rufox TV, saying that the audience for point and click games, it's people like him that has a cast in his arm and needs to point and click on games. Yeah, that's a niche.
yeah.
That's a niche market.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's hard to shoot on that target audience, but
I
yeah,
just imagine the marketing graphic,
quite.
like you having a pie chart and then a percentage, like people that broke their arms.
Yeah, but to be 100% totally honest with you, uh, we had a pretty bumpy ride with Chicken Police into the Hive, because when we pitched the game to publishers and partners and whatnot, uh, the main issue was that it's an adventure game. It's a point and click game,
Yeah.
so it's a niche market from the start, from the get go, and even if we have a successful first game or first episode for the game, it's still super hard to grab the attention of people who calling the shots on publisher side and or investor side. But fortunately, we find an amazing partner for this second journey, Joystick Ventures, who are our partners in crime this time. So they still, even with this niche market, they still find the passion to work with us on the sequel.
But even in a phase like last year, we had, for me, and for the market, the two biggest series, the two biggest point and click series, Monkey Island, that had a sequel last year, and I think it went pretty well. I know that obviously getting a publisher like Devolver into a point and click game mainly happens because it's a series, a stable series like Monkey Island. But
Mhm.
during this Gamescom, we had Charles Cecil announcing the new Broken Sword, the Broken Sword 6. So do you think seeing the biggest franchises returning might open up the interest of some publishers to actually invest in point and click games?
Well, I hope so. Yeah, both points that you said are valid, because both Monkey Island and the Broken Sword series are obviously amazing, huge series, and yeah, I think if those games will be successful, or yeah, Monkey Island is already successful, it can open some doors, but still with that even with that, it's super hard, because uh, yeah, it's a niche market, and also in our case, we are making a game with realistic animals, top of human body. So for us, it even niche market, so to speak. So yeah, but overall, I think for the indie scene as a whole, it can be a great thing and a new hope, basically.
How big is the team now?
Well, our team are more than 20 people now, but we are working on several projects. So on Chicken Police 2, there are, I think, 9 or 10 people working. Some people are on and off because, like graphic artists and some members who are not full-time members of the team. But yeah, I think on and off 8, 9, or 10 people who are working on Chicken Police 2 right now.
Even with the you have your numbers. Obviously, I'm not going to ask you to disclose them, but even with the sequel to a series that already got published, and obviously you can at least prove some kind of level of trust to a publisher because you already released the first game and you're a stable company. Was it difficult, for example, even during Gamescom to have conversations with publishers regarding well, at least in Gamescom you already had a publisher, if I recall, didn't you?
Yeah, yes.
But before that, did you feel it was really hard? Because there are still a few. There are not many publishers that invest in point and clicks. But was it that hard nowadays to pitch a point and click game?
Yeah, actually, it was way easier because way easier to reach out for publishers or to start talking with publishers because we had the first game, and we, as you said, we are already an established studio, and we are growing, and our numbers are quite great, especially for a niche genre like this. So reaching out for them was way easier after Chicken Police 1, but striking a deal for Chicken Police 2 was maybe a little bit harder because it's a sequel, and sequels are always tricky, and sequels are always hard to make them right, and because you just with the first game usually you lost the first impression. So the sequel will never have that first big impact or first big impression on the people because they are already saw the game, the main premise, the art style and whatnot. So that's one point, and because of that, it was a little harder. So yeah, after Chicken Police 1, we were in talks with several publishers and investors on and off for almost 2 years. Yeah, we were in talks with more publishers that were interested in the game. So we had the opportunity to choose between them, which is great, and which is a thing that we never had with the first game. So in that regard, it was a little bit easier, yes. And finally, we are really find the best possible partner for the job. So yeah. Actually, in the end, it was a little bit easier, but as I said, a sequel is always hard.
So you feel that obviously when Chicken Police 1 appeared, everything was like the novelty sense was big. Like everyone that even just crossed their eyes with the game knew that they never played something like this before. Do you think that sense of novelty, like you said, for a sequel, it's something that impacted negatively to that negotiation process?
Yeah, I think pretty much so, because many publishers said that novelty factor is gone now, and maybe the game doesn't have any big new things to bring to the table. But we were like, we know that the sequel will be even better in every aspect than the first game, with better, higher quality, better animations, better gameplay, more replayability, and whatnot. So we were super confident that in the end we will find our partner, and in the end we will make this game, our dream game, which is in some sense the game that we wanted Chicken Police 1 to be, because we had many features and many ideas that we can't realize in Chicken Police 1 because of time limitations or budget limitations or whatnot. And now we have the opportunity to build upon the foundations of Chicken Police 1 and make the sequel better in every possible aspect. And that's what we are working on right now.
We have a really interesting question by Seixas, which is, can you talk a bit about Zips Cafe? Is it a project you wanted to do and found the Chicken Police universe would fit in, or something that you came up with while working on Chicken Police? Basically, a who came first, chicken or egg type of question.
Yeah. Zips Cafe is, those who don't know, Zips Cafe is a new game we just announced. It was like a surprise announcement, and the game will be available on 3 weeks from now, actually. So it's pretty soon. And Zips Cafe was almost like an internal game jam kind of thing. So somebody in the team had this idea that it will be great to make a coffee talk like or Valhalla like game in the Chicken Police universe, because in Chicken Police 1 we had this locale, the then called Hub Dog, which is now Zips Cafe, and Zip itself, the owner of that cafe, is a big fan favorite. So it was like, why not give it a shot? And we worked the first iteration of the game. We worked on like 2 or 3 months or something like that. And really, it was almost like an internal game jam for the team between two bigger projects. But we saw that the game has such a great atmosphere and ambience and feel to it that we decided to work on it a little bit harder and for a longer period of time. And now it's already announced. And actually, we made that game. We completed that game almost a year ago, but we doesn't want to announce it before Chicken Police 2, because Chicken Police 2 is our big project. So after we announced the second game and we showcased it on places like Gamescom and PAX, we were confident enough to announce Zips Cafe, and as I said, from 3 weeks from now, it will be released.
I have another technical question. I had this segment, that FPS segment in the shooting range, and I was looking at the weapons, and they looked hyper realistic. Did you model it for sure? What engine are you using now?
Yeah, actually, those were modeled. I think in Maya, but I'm not the technical guy or the artist.
But the game engine is this Unreal?
The game engine is Unity.
Oh, Unity. Okay.
Yeah, we made the first game in Unity too, and right now we are working on every project in Unity.
And something, if I recall, you guys are coming to the physical event in November, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's really nice. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, absolutely. We were never in Lisbon before, so it's a new experience. So yeah, we are looking forward to it.
I think you guys are gonna love it, really, both the event and the city.
Yeah. Actually, bringing chicken police to events is always tricky because this is so this game is so atmospheric and immersive, so you need to suck in the atmosphere of the game. But to our great surprise, every time we showcasing the game everywhere in the anywhere in the world, people are love it dearly, even in those expo conditions, which is not too great for this kind of games. But yeah, the feedback is always amazing, so we can't wait to show the game to another audience.
I'm just checking something. You obviously introduced something that I think we missed when we were younger playing point and click games, which is the possibility of highlighting the objects that we can interact with, so that we don't have to pixel hunt. I was just checking, by the way, was I supposed to be able to interact with Plato?
No, that's actually a bug.
Ah, okay.
That's actually a bug we are already aware of.
Okay.
Yeah, but you have keen eyes, you have detective eyes.
That's
I think, but I think you need to get the permission from Monica, maybe. I don't know. I
the
was
papers.
so
Yeah.
I was so in the conversation.
Bureaucracy. Yeah, me too. This is. I think there are several genres which are I've been feeling the last few years difficult of doing a streaming session and a conversation at the same time. One, it's point and click games. The other is puzzle games, and then strategy games. I think they are
Oh, yes.
like the most difficult. Like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, actually, it's also quite a problem for marketing the game because it's hard to actually streaming these kind of games.
Yeah.
On one end, because they are very story heavy and narrative focused, and you just spoil the game for your players. And the another aspect is what you're saying, that you need to concentrate on these kind of games. Especially Chicken Police has all these dialogues, and you have to be careful and read every line so you don't miss something important. But yeah, we working on it hard to make the second game as a little bit less text heavy. Um, on the sorry, it's a little bit hard to put in words, but the thing is that we are making the game less text heavy, but also have more more dialogues. So yeah, we wanted to design the gameplay flow in a way that people always know what to do and when to come next, even if the player skip one or two dialogues or something like that, as we just saw that. Yeah, and this is one of our totally new locales and totally new places in into the hive, which is the hive itself, the ghetto of insects within the walls of Glowwhale.
Are you bringing some real locations and then transforming them, or is it all everything is built from the ground up?
Yeah, everything is totally made by ourselves from the ground. Yeah. So every place is actually we using photos for the characters, as we spoke about it earlier, and for the bodies and the faces. But all the locations are made 100% by us in 3D. So for those, we are not using any photos or things like that.
Oh, a snail. A snail enforcer. Nice.
Yeah. Hank is already kind
Hank
of
Hartshell.
fan favorite character.
Yeah. So good.
Also, one thing which I wanted to mention is that these camera changes which we never had in the first game.
Yeah,
So we worked on to make all the conversations more dynamic with these zoom in, zoom outs, and the other camera changes. Also, the animations for the characters are way more sophisticated and also way more dynamic in the second game, which was a huge point for us to refine after the first game, because we in the first game we wanted to achieve a photograph look, but also uh, obviously animate all the characters and all
yeah.
the stuff, even in the background. But we didn't have as much time or human power to do this. But now we have, so the full game is more dynamic and
Yeah,
more animated and
more
more
organic
vivid
too.
than ever. Yeah,
For
yeah,
example, I was watching both Sonny and Marty, their idle animations. Like, when you recorded this, sorry to pry too much behind the curtain, but what was the recording process like? You just recorded a small loop, or are you rigging photos and still images?
yeah. Actually, we used just still images. So every animation you see is animated by our amazing 2D animator, Alex, who did all of those. And yeah, we already heard this about players and testers that they look so organic that actually many players thought that these are small video loops. But no, it's all 2D animations.
Oh,
It's still images. Yeah,
yeah. I was trying to. Yeah, I was overanalyzing it, seeing the leather jacket. If we can notice the reflection, and
yeah,
because the rest of the animation looked recorded,
yeah, yeah.
the loop. Yeah, looks really well, and yeah, that dynamic change of zoom and everything looks really really nice. I think it improves the game. And here we are, insects. And also, you're bringing some, again, some serious themes to. Although we have this humor side of the um, of the story, the characters, yeah, they are a mix of seriousness and humor. But we see this kind of apartheid with insects, like the anti-insect politician that was attacked,
Hmm.
and how this will tie up with this area of the city where the insects live. It's Is it some kind of a for me it remember almost like an insect ghetto. So are you really
Yeah.
diving into some serious themes with again with the sequel?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think we will rely more heavily on serious themes than in the first game,
Yeah.
because the first game had some pretty mature themes, yes, but overall it just scratched the surface of the many political and racial and cultural uh, uh, problems of this city and of this world, because it's important to point out that the whole world behind Chicken Police is a very carefully and slowly built universe, which is way more than the game shows at first, because it has its own history and its own religions and factions and political powers and whatnot, and all of this built in this world, which we call World of Wilderness. And yeah, we thought that in the second game we need to be a little bit uh, more heavy on this and more um, bold on these topics, because we had such great feedback from the players who saw these opportunities even in the first game, and these foreshadowings of events that will unfold in the second game. So we thought that why not we making this even more serious, and also because of games like Disco Elysium, games where the humor and the very heavy mature themes can coexist so perfectly. we feel that that this is the right time and the right place
Yeah.
to do this kind of games. So and this is also a pretty great thing that I think indie games are pioneering right now. That we indie developers can speak about anything and everything freely, while in the AAA segment, it's way harder to do this, or almost impossible to do this. And this is partially why I love modern indie games so much, because we have this boldness and this nothing to lose attitude towards the narratives and game world building. So yeah, that's why we choose this way. And yes, Chicken Police 2 has some super heavy and gritty themes.
And even for being with indie developers have the risk and also the freedom to be against even their own political establishments or their political realities. And that's why I also would like to ask you if you feel this grittiness and more serious approach in terms of themes between the first one, which came out 7 years ago, and this one. It's the fact that even our real world in Europe, for example, is the political landscape. It's pretty different from it was 10 years ago. Do you feel that influenced your own creativity? Like what you as creators and artists would like to say with your work of art?
Yeah, actually, it's we always trying to not to be too politic in our games. But as you said, the political landscape in Europe and basically in the entire world is so uh, chaotic and confusing right now that we whatever we like it or not, we have to be political a little bit, at least a little bit, and we just can't escape our own reality. So I I don't say that Chicken Police 2 will be hard on actual politics,
You can trace the parallels.
but yeah, you will see some pretty obvious parallels,
Yeah.
which we just can't ignore.
Even just this big concept of the insects can't leave the district without without the approval. It's unfortunately something not as fictional as we would
Yeah.
like it to be. So yeah, the tone got really serious with the same mix of humor in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. We were like, for the sequel, we need to crank everything up to 11, as we as we usually say it. So the dark and mature themes will be uh, more apparent in the second game, but also the humor will be also more bold and more absurd in some places, also more meta in some other
Hmm.
places. So I think. Uh, we we felt that the balance in Chicken Police 1 was really spot on between the humor and these dark themes. But we were like, we can do even better. So we just cranked up every little aspect of the game um, to 11, and both the humor of the game and both the serious themes are affected in this.
Difficult question. Did you decide that the species that were segregated were insects because historically you usually find the way to dehumanize specific human groups as insects, or it was just an artistic or conceptual decision?
Both,
Okay.
both is right because the first thing you mentioned was in my, so to speak, back of my head when I thought about this whole segregation thing in the universe of the game. But also I thought that choosing a species which are a little bit different by the looks will be a great representation of this bigotry and this behavior that we tend to look harshly on people who look different than we are. So that's why we choose the insects, because they are look different than animals, but in every other aspect they are totally in the same
This whole
same
madness
state. So
started with this
this
petty
this
little
this is
affair.
why we choose them in the end.
I skipped not to spoil anyone's
Yeah.
experience. This is the last streaming session. I still have two questions to ask you, so just gonna ask for the production team's patience for us just to ask two more questions. And thank you. I'm really enjoying this the background and the context around Chicken Police. The first one is are we gonna have a demo available, for example, for the IndieX Steam event in mid-November?
Uh, for the physical event, we will showcasing a demo,
And
obviously.
yeah,
But for the Steam event, we will not
okay,
have a playable one, because we are aiming for February, the
okay,
next Steam Fest, for the public demo, and that will be a bigger demo than what we
yeah.
just played. So it will have more characters and more locations and two more mini games, for example. So that will be a more complete experience. That's because we are always this perfectionists, and we thought that yes, this demo is great for showcasing and for expos and whatnot, but we want to give a perfect and rounded experience for the public.
And since we spoke about the point and click genre, let me just ask you: is we noticed, or we talked about who is the audience that is buying point and click games, but do you feel that this renaissance of the genre that the indie market is pushing, it's also our generation that are now creating games and opening and starting their companies that are bringing the genre to life again, because it's something we all grew up and we're interested and we decided, so now I'm not just on the other side of the screen, now I'm actually building the games and this is what I want to do.
Yeah, actually, I think nostalgic factor is pretty strong in this case, that we are who grew up on these games, started our own companies and started working on games, and obviously we want to achieve that same feeling with our games that we felt when we played in our childhood or young adulthood. Uh, so that's one aspect, but also I think point and click games are a little bit special, because these kind of games are just, in my opinion, they are not aging. So if you play Monkey Island 1 or 2 today, it's still the same
Yeah,
experience than it was back in the day. Aside from most of the FPS games or TPS games or RTS games, where the gameplay will feel dated, because we are so far ahead on those aspects. But strangely, with point and click games, the gameplay side never evolved much higher, because it was all almost perfect from the get go. So because of that, I think point and clicks are um, uh, more
eternal.
uh, yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. That was
Yeah,
the word I
Saturday I
was
actually
searching for.
I decided to play Beneath the Steel Sky, and that's
Oh
exactly what you
yes,
said. Like you start playing a game that was released in
oh yes,
'88,
yeah.
so a 35-year-old game. And so, if someone told me, yeah, this game was released 2 months ago, I would believe it because the quality stands out. And it's
Yeah,
true.
absolutely.
Point and click games, they stand by the test of time, and it's more than proved. So maybe in 30 years our grandchildren will be playing Chicken Police because my children saw me playing Chicken Police and they would bring it to their kids too. Dad used to play this when he was a kid with your grandfather. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually sounds great.
Bunk, thanks a lot for this amazing conversation. I had a huge time, a great time talking with you. Would be nice. Are you coming to Lisbon personally?
Absolutely, yeah, I
Yeah,
will
that's
be
nice.
there.
So we'll grab a beer and drink a coffee, and if you need some guy to show you around Lisbon, will be around. And also, thank you for having Chicken Police into the Hive as part of IndieX 2023. It's an honor for us, and congratulations to you and the team, and best of luck. Okay,
Thanks, and thanks for having us on the event and having me as in this session.
thank you. So
Thanks.
this is the last session for today. We're gonna return tomorrow at 10 a.m. Stay tuned. It was a great day with amazing games, and we finished, for me personally, in a high note because I'm a huge point and click fan and huge Chicken Police fan, and hope you also enjoyed it. Tomorrow we'll return 10 a.m. More 11 amazing indie games. Stay tuned, and please go wishlist everything. Go wishlist Chicken Police now, and check every game. Thanks a lot. See you all tomorrow.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but yeah, Moses is right.
Okay.
Whatever. Moses, Plato, the later the better.
Indeed.
Sorry to bother you guys, but have you seen Monica?